Good morning to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Before I go to the actual session, I would like to talk about the new batches starting from 17th November. Let us have a quick look at these batches starting from 17th November. Agni batch, SSC CGL and CHSL 2021 exams, Foundation batch, SSC CPO 2021 exam, SET Brahmastra batch for banks and SSC, complete batch on general studies, all SSC 2021 exams, Team Phoenix batch, an important batch, and there's a feature Ask a Doubt by Unacademy. If you take 1 year subscription, you get additional 4 months. You take 2 year subscription, you get additional 8 months. This offer is valid till 18th November 2021. And test series for SSC aspirants. Many of these are free, so you have to use, very useful. You don't have to pay. Uh, Current affairs bites. Please go through all these. SSC stenographer mock test series, UPSA practice test series, SSC GD constable mock test series, SSC MTS tier 1 test series, SSC CGL and CHSL tier 1 practice test series. There is another feature, raise hand. Every Sunday there's a combat test. All that you have to do, answer 40 questions in 50 minutes. You can win scholarship from a pool of 1 crore. Use my referral code Murthy10. Then you get 10% discount, and these are the offers. Please go through. All set, let's crack it. Now we'll go to, as I said, this is something very important. I want you guys to take Unacademy SSC scholarship test every Sunday at 12 noon. 12 noon for SSC aspirants. Free registration, available in English and Hindi, 40 questions in 50 minutes, and you get the answer solution for each question. You can win scholarship from a pool of 1 crore. Based on your rank, you get the scholarship. And use my referral code Murthy10. Last Sunday, the toppers Amit first rank, Avinash Anand second rank, and Shubham Kumar third rank. There's an important feature, ask a doubt by Unacademy. If you have a doubt, raise a query or doubt, get instant solutions to lakhs of questions, high quality solution in English and Hindi, and also if the question is unique, subscribed learners get a detailed video solution. Solutions available for SSC exams, not for bank exams, SSC exams. And we have this week also free classes carnival. Very useful. All these classes, 20 plus classes, every day for free. You don't have to pay. Monday master class, you get the concepts and relevant exam topics. Tufani tricks Tuesday, you get the tips and tricks. And Wednesday workshop, you get the basics. Thursday Tayari, an important quiz touching all the exam topics. Fun Friday, educators take doubts and cover topic-wise strategy. Weekend Bonanza, Maha Marathons, and topper sessions. And mind you, all these are free classes. You don't have to pay. Now let us go to the editorial. What is this editorial about and what does it talk about? Good morning, Surendra. Very good morning. This talks about, it starts with a lost cause. First, you have to know the meaning of this idiomatic expression. It means to fight. To fight, a person or a thing fights, or who fights can no longer hope to succeed. It is like fighting a lost battle. And today you're going to learn something from grammar point of view, vocabulary point of view, reading comprehension point of view, and exam topics editorial words. Not these. Today you're not going to work on those because we are not getting enough time. What are the words you can learn from this editorial? Have a look very carefully. Futility. This word comes from futile, pointlessness or uselessness. No use. Generally, we say it's a futile effort. Means what? No point in trying. When you try to fight a lost battle, it is futility, futile effort. Rebels, we have got many a time. A person who rises in opposition or armed resistance against an established government or leader. Anyone who opposes the government or the leader, we use the word rebel, rebellion. And also you can think of words like mutiny, revolution, insurgency, all these. Good morning. I saw your message. I will respond. Monica, you have to wait 1 or 2 days. Setback, a reversal of check or check in progress. You try to achieve something, then something goes wrong, then we say unexpectedly. There was a setback. Protracted, an important word, lasting for a long time, longer than expected or usual. For this, we also use the word protracted, prolonged. Hefty person, usually it goes with persons, weight, a lot of weight, and heavy. But here, the weight of someone or something, not physically, the weight of someone or something, it goes with the power and authority. Conflict, a serious disagreement or argument, typically a protracted one. Conflict, cause of dispute. Prolonged, continued for a long time or longer than usual, lengthy. Insurgency, noun form, insurgent, good morning. An active revolt or uprising against the government. Combat, war, combatant, a person or nation engaged in fighting during a war. Encounter, generally we use the expression police encounters. Unexpectedly be faced with or experience something hostile or difficult. Come on, it is something like head on collision. You come across unexpectedly, or you're faced with or experience hostile means enmity, antagonistic. Landmine, an explosive mine laid on or just under the surface of the ground. Extremism, the holding of extreme political or religious views. We also use the word religious fanaticism. Infirmity means a weakness, here in the plural form. Weakness either physical or mental. Pursuit, this comes from the word pursue. The action of pursuing someone or something in pursuit of success. You guys are in pursuit of success. Peasantry, once it was very popular, now it is not in the limelight. Small landholders and agricultural laborers of low social status. Low social status, they have land, but small landholders and agricultural laborers, we use the word peasantry. Guerrilla warfare, a member of an unofficial military group, and they attack the government on and off, but surprise attacks, then we use this term. Enamored, have a liking or admiration for someone. You like someone, you like something. Enamored. Entrench has got two different meanings. One is deep rooted. In this context, establishing trenches or other fortified positions. This editorial is all about Maoists fighting a lost battle, the lost cause for the lost cause. Obviously, all the words, though they have two or three meanings, you have to get the meaning that goes with the context. Marginalized people, marginalized communities, typical combinations of a person, group, or concept, treated as insignificant or peripheral, downtrodden people. Incongruence, an important word, not suitable or not fitting well with something else, not in harmony, then we use incongruence. Quixotic, an important word, extremely idealistic, unrealistic, and impractical. You have an idea that is not practical, then we use the word quixotic idea. Skirmishes, a short fight that is usually not planned, spontaneous, usually happens along the border. Now let us go to the editorial and see what is there to learn. How does it start? A lost cause. It means someone or something cannot hope to win or cannot hope to succeed. It is already over. They cannot hope to succeed. It is like fighting a lost battle. And it is in reference to Maoists. What is the main idea of this editorial? Despite severe losses, the Maoists refuse to acknowledge the futility of their cause. Here, cause means Maoists, they have their own agenda, they have their own philosophy, and the editorial says, despite severe losses, the word despite expresses a contrast, it's a preposition. And many exams have given despite of, that's a wrong combination. We should not use a preposition of after despite. And in spite of, same function, three separate words. They have been incurring losses. Despite severe losses, the Maoists refuse to acknowledge, refuse to accept the futility of their cause. They don't want to admit, they don't want to acknowledge, they don't want to accept the futility of their cause or their futile efforts. They are still, in a way, adamant or stubborn, or in a way, they are fighting. It is a lost cause. They are fighting a lost battle. Usually, editorials, whenever they write, you come across an editorial, please remember there are two dimensions. One is information, short form info. The other one, language, English language. Here, the focus is not a lot on information, the focus is more on English language proficiency. So here, whatever I say, based on language proficiency, I try to do the analysis. Simultaneously, I give the information that goes with the editorial. Any editorial, usually it is written based on a particular event or a particular incident. It starts with that incident, then it provides a background information, and it talks about the problem, the solution, the role of the government, the reasons behind. This editorial also follows the same format. So, what is a recent incident that has triggered, that has acted as a stimulus to write this editorial? With the deaths of 26 rebels in a police operation in Gachiroli on Saturday, the proscribed Communist Party of India, Maoist, has faced yet another setback in its protracted armed struggle against the Indian state. I will underline the important words and here futility, pointlessness, or uselessness. After that, you have the word rebels, a person who rises in opposition or a person who opposes the government in a short form. Proscribed, prohibited. And also, we have a setback. Setback means a reversal of progress or check in progress. You try something, it doesn't happen, then you say setback. Protracted, lasting for a long time, or longer than expected or usual. When it comes to editorial, there are two things. Whatever you do, you have to do at this stage from the exam point of view. And this editorial, why should we spend 60 minutes on this editorial? You can learn a lot of words. You can learn a lot of prepositional combinations, phrases, idioms, all these, and that is a use. It helps in the long run. So words, you have got the meanings. Now you have to understand what does it mean. With the deaths of 26 rebels in a police operation in Gachiroli on Saturday, the proscribed, prohibited Communist Party of India Maoist has faced, this is in present perfect tense, yet another setback. The word yet is used to express a contrast, one meaning, and also it is used as an adverb, yet another setback, in its protracted armed struggle against the Indian state. We all know the word state. Usually, a state, there are so many states, 20 plus states in India. But here, state has a different meaning. It's a term that goes with Indian polity. State here means, good morning. State here means an independent country, a sovereign country, Indian state. So don't get confused. A state like Maharashtra, a state like Madhya Pradesh, that is different. Indian state here means Indian, the country, India, an independent, politically independent, sovereign country. We use the word state. So this talks about 26 rebels dying in the operation. That is one thing, the deaths of those, and it is nothing but a setback for Maoists. And why is it a setback? They have been fighting against the Indian state, protracted armed struggle, prolonged armed struggle. Gachiroli, a largely forested and tribal dominated district, is among Maharashtra's poorest, and the Maoists have sought to expand their presence, extending from neighboring Chhattisgarh. This talks about, as I said, incident happened and 26 rebels died, deaths of 26 rebels. And then it talks about the place. Where did it happen? Gachiroli. Where is this? Gachiroli, a largely forested and tribal dominated district, is among Maharashtra's poorest. It is one of the poorest districts of Maharashtra state. And the Maoists have sought to expand their presence, extending from neighboring Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh known for the Maoists, and they wanted to expand from there. In that process, this incident happened. And here, sought to. The verb is seek, seek, sought, sought. That is the past form. You're all job seekers. You all know that word. Then it talks about it provides a background information. There have been major encounters in the district, with recent ones involving the deaths of 40 Maoists in two separate operations in April 2018, and a landmine blast claiming 15 police personnel and a driver in May 2019. There are two words over here: encounters. Unexpectedly be faced with or experience something hostile or something that is antagonistic. Usually, encounter, we use a combination: political encounter, police encounter. Police encounter, very common. And another word, landmine, an explosive mine laid on or just under the surface of the ground. Again, when we talk about Maoists, we talk about landmines, and because of that, a lot of people die. Claiming 15, usually police personnel, employees of an organization, and a driver in May 2019. Gadchiroli remains one of the few districts severely affected by left wing extremism. Extremism means holding of extreme political or religious views. There's another word, fanaticism, an important word. And here it talks about this particular place, Gadchiroli remains one of the few districts severely affected by left wing extremism. That means what? A lot of Maoists, left wing extremism, they are there. And this particular district, Gadchiroli, severely affected. There's another important word you have to focus on from the exam point of view: affect and effect. AFFECT, effect is a verb. Effect can be a verb, can be a noun, but usually it is used as a noun, not as a verb. Affect verb, effect noun. Despite suffering significant losses to its leadership, either in military operations or due to physical infirmities and a shrinking of the areas of influence, the Maoists have refused to withdraw from their pursuit of armed struggle. This talks about the various things that have been going against Maoists. Three things the editorial talks about. Despite provides a contrasting information. Suffering significant losses. Significant means important losses to its leadership. They have been losing leaders, and what are the reasons behind? Either in military operations, one thing, or due to physical infirmities. Infirmity means physical or mental weakness. And a third factor, and the shrinking of the areas of influence. Shrink means to become smaller. The Maoists have refused to withdraw from their pursuit of armed struggle. Pursuit, to go in search of something. It comes from the word pursue, armed struggle. In cycles of violence, they have managed their own strikes against security forces, but such attacks have not provided them any heft in expanding their presence or increasing their support base. This talks about still they are powerful. In cycles of violence, an important expression, they have managed their own strikes against security forces. Because of that, some police personnel they had to lose their lives. But such attacks have not provided them any heft, any influence, or any power in expanding their presence or increasing their support base. They are still powerful to some extent, but that power, the attacks against security forces, those things have not provided them any heft. Heft means the weight of someone or something. In this context, it means the power, the influence. In expanding their presence, they are not in a position to expand, and increasing their support base, they are not in a position to increase their support base. The conflict has fallen into a pattern. The conflict, what is a conflict here? A serious disagreement or argument, typically a protracted one. Conflict goes for a long time. A clash, conflict, argument, or disagreement between the state and the Maoists. It says, editorial says, it has fallen into a pattern. What is that pattern? Violence begets violence, means violence produces violence. As insurgents, this comes from the word insurgency, means going against the government, revolt. But equally, insurgents and the security forces continually lose combatants. There's a problem here. What is a problem? There's a pattern. Violence begets violence, means violence produces violence. As insurgents, those who go against the government and the security forces continually, continuous is different, continually is different. Continuous means without a break, continually at regular intervals. Lose combatants, combat war, combatants, those who fight. But equally disturbing, there's one more factor that is equally disturbing. This also affects the poor tribal people in that particular area whose lives are caught in a prolonged crossfire. Prolonged means extended crossfire between the security forces and the Maoists. The Maoist inability not just to expand but also to entrench themselves, entrench, establish in trenches or other fortified positions, deep rooted. The Maoist inability, not just to expand, they're not able to expand, they're not able to entrench. Why? What is the reason? Is to some extent to the credit of the Indian state apparatus, both its security establishment and its work. They're not in a position to expand and they're losing the battle, already lost, according to the editorial, for two reasons. One, Indian state apparatus, both security establishment and its work. What is the work? Through development schemes in weaning away support for the Maoists among the poorest and marginalized sections, especially in remote areas. This talks about Maoists, they're not able to expand, they're not able to entrench. Reasons being one is security establishment and the work of the state, Indian state, what is it? Development schemes. Because of the development schemes, they are in a position they could wean away support for the Maoists, wean, take away, among the poorest and marginalized sections, especially in remote areas. Marginalized means it usually goes with groups treated as insignificant, not part of the mainstream, in remote areas, isolated areas. At the same time, this is also a reflection of the incongruence of the Indian Maoist program, which bases itself on replicating the Chinese revolution of the previous century and its quixotic pursuit of armed struggle as a means to achieve its aims. This talks about an important sentence. At the same time, it's a reflection. It reflects something. What does it reflect? The incongruence, an important word, something that is not in harmony, something that does not fit. Incongruence of the Indian Maoist program. It says the Indian Maoist program is not it is in incongruence, means it is not in harmony. What is the reason? Which bases itself on replicating, reproducing the Chinese revolution of the previous century. Previous century different, this century different. So obviously it cannot be in harmony. And its quixotic pursuit, quixotic, an important word, extremely idealistic, unrealistic, or impractical. It goes with quixotic idea, quixotic policy, pursuit of armed struggle as a means to achieve its aims. Neither are the conditions in India remotely closer to that of China in the 1920s. Obviously, they cannot be the same. Nor are the peasantry, an important word. Peasantry means small landholders and agricultural laborers of low social status who support the Maoists deem as crucial to the project. Maoists, they depend on the peasantry, the small landholders and agricultural laborers for support, and they consider that crucial. Crucial means important. Enamored of the Maoist program or its reliance on guerrilla struggle. Enamored, an important word, have a liking or admiration for someone or something. And guerrilla warfare, usually we say, a member of unofficial military group. Usually they attack the government and usually they resort to surprise attacks. Now the editorial reinforces the main idea. What is it? The Maoist refusal to acknowledge the diverse industrial base in the country, their rejection of liberal democratic instruments in the Indian state, and the faith of the poor in the robust electoral system. Electoral system. Robust means strong electoral system have blinded them to pursue a futile cause. Editorial says Maoists have been blinded, and in spite of these factors, because they have been blinded, not literally, they are pursuing a futile cause. Futility means what? Of no use. Yet, despite the futility, the Maoists retain the capability to strike in isolated skirmishes. It is a futile effort. In spite of that, the Maoists retain the capability, they have the power to strike in isolated skirmishes, a short fight that is usually not planned. Now, how does the editorial end? Maharashtra must not rest on its success in the military diminishing the Maoist threat in Gachiroli. Now they have achieved success in a way, but the editorial says Maharashtra must not rest on its success in militarily diminishing the Maoist threat in Gachiroli. It has to do something more. What is that? It must act continually in winning over the support of the tribals in the region and retaining their faith in the liberal democratic institutions of the state. So, this is very important. They have to focus on winning over the support of tribals in the region, one thing, and retaining their faith in the liberal democratic institutions of the state. It ends on that particular note. So, this is an editorial which deals with Maoists and the lost cause, fighting the lost battle. Exam point of view, grammar point of view, already have got the words. Now you have to listen very carefully. When it comes to SSC exams, many competitive exams for that matter, prepositional phrases, prepositional combinations, idioms, standard phrases, phrasal verbs, very important. Word forms, word combinations. This slide is very useful from the exam point of view. Despite losses, after despite, we have to use a noun or a noun phrase. Despite his village background, anything you can say. Refuse to do something, refuse to accept. Please focus on the preposition combinations. Futility of, it takes a preposition of. Futile, effort, a different combination. Face another setback, faced many setbacks, face another setback. Struggle against, fight against, the preposition. Amongst, you have to recollect the difference. Generally, we say between, among, what is the difference? When we talk about two persons or two things, we use between, more than two, among. But what is the difference between among and amongst? If the word after the preposition begins with a vowel letter or a vowel sound, we should use amongst, amongst us. And amongst is also a literary expression. It goes with written English. Seek to achieve success. Seek shelter. You can use seek with to or without to. They are seeking political asylum. Here there's no preposition. Seek to achieve success. Sought to. You can use the preposition to. This phrase is very important from exam's point of view. Why is it important? I told last week also there are three important rules you have to recollect. All the three rules. Lose is an adjective, loss is a noun, and LOSC, this is a verb. Adjective, noun, verb. Lose, lost, lost. Loss, losses, noun. And loose shirt, loose, tight shirt, adjective. Losses to, it takes a preposition to. Due to, again, owing to. Please focus on the prepositional combinations. Shrinking off something, shrinking off the areas. It takes a preposition of. Withdraw from the battle, withdraw from the competition. Here, the verb withdraw takes a preposition from. Cycles of violence. Here, the regular word cycle, noun, but here, cycles are different connotation, something that gets repeated. Fall into a ditch, fall into something. It takes a preposition into. Affect the poor. Here, affect is a verb. Affect the rich, affect the poor. And there's one thing you have to think of or recollect, the poor. Usually, the word poor is an adjective. He is a poor person. But in English, we can use an adjective as a noun. When we use an adjective as a noun, we have to use a definite article the, and the verb should be in the plural form. The poor are helpless. The rich are arrogant. In many exams, they've given questions based on this particular rule, very important. Caught in a crossfire, idiomatic expression. Inability to expand, ability to do something, inability to do something or to expand. So, two is important here. At the same time means what? Simultaneously. In pursuit of, it takes a preposition in pursuit of someone, in pursuit of something. Usually, you guys are in pursuit of success. Means to achieve, means methods. Means to accomplish, means to achieve, an important expression. And conjunctions, you all know, neither, nor, either, or, all these are conjunctions. But if you use neither, either, they can be without or, nor, then they become pronouns. And those pronouns are known as distributive pronouns. Important. They always take a singular verb. Crucial to. Crucial for, you can use. Crucial to also you can use. Rely on, from that you get reliance. Rely on, depend on, bank on, they all mean the same. Remember the preposition on. Faith of can be used, faith of tribal people, faith in the government. Here two different prepositions, both can be used based on the context. Yet it can be an adverb, it can be a conjunction. Usually it expresses a contrasting idea. Rest on something, rest on success, rest on something. So all these are very important from the exam point of view. And comprehension point of view, what are the questions you can think of? What is this editorial about? You should have a clear picture. Depend on, that's right. In the context of the editorial, what has fallen into a pattern? In the exam, you read a passage, you try to answer the questions, always look at the key words. What is to some extent to the credit of the Indian state apparatus? Keywords, navigate, locate, you get the answer. What does Maoist program base itself on? It bases itself on a particular model. It has been trying to replicate that model. Easy to answer. What has blinded Maoists to pursue a futile cause? They have been blinded by something to pursue a futile cause. No point in fighting, no point in trying. Now try to respond. You have the editorial words, and here you have the meanings, but not correctly, not in sequence. So you have to look at the word and you have to match. Futility means what? Futile, futility. So what is the meaning of futility? Answer is E. Uselessness, pointlessness. Let us go to the next one. Setback. Setback means what? Something that checks the progress or reversal in progress. Answer is G. Heft means weight of someone or something. Here it is I. Prolonged, extended. So extended is the answer. Now you have started, I see. 1E, 2 setback, G. Insurgency. Insurgent, noun. Insurgency also noun. Means what? Here, an active revolt. That is the answer. C. Infirmity means weakness. It can be physical, it can be mental. J. Peasantry, an important word, but not in the limelight. Small landholders. Answer is H. Enamored, an important word. Have a liking or admiration for someone or something. Answer here B. Marginalized communities means what? Treated as insignificant. D is the answer. Quixotic, an important word. It means extremely idealistic or being impractical. F is the answer. I hope you have got All these words are very important. You get the same words in the exam. That way, they're very important. That's all for today. Thanks for being with me till 8:50. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. I will see you tomorrow morning. Thank you.